Hello, everybody. It's Alex here again with another daily devotional for you, my friends and family at Bow Valley Baptist, and anyone else who's stumbling across our little videos. Today, we're taking a quick look here at Acts chapter 9, and we're in Acts still because I'm in Acts, which I guess right now means you're in Acts too. And it reads here, just the first 9 verses. Now Saul was still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. He went to the high priest and requested letters from him to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any men or women who belonged to the way, he might bring them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he traveled and was nearing Damascus, a light from heaven suddenly flashed around him. Falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul said. "I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting," he replied. "But get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." The men who were traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the sound, but seeing no one. Saul got up from the ground, and though his eyes were open, he could see nothing. So they took him by the hand and led him into Damascus. He was unable to see for 3 days and did not eat or drink. Now the reason why this text here stood out here to me, and why it's being used for the devotional today, is one of the common questions I've seen played out over and over again in both new and old Christians alike, is the question of what should I be doing in this specific situation? Whether it is with your relationships or your work, or how often a specific moral or ethical question comes up that might exist in a gray area. Really anywhere where indecision is reigning in our lives, is that we desire very strongly God's direction for us. And that's a good thing. We should want that kind of direction, but we don't always get it in the way that we want. And so we fret. We let anxiety and worry take over us, and we kind of tip around like a boat in the ocean, this way or that way, not knowing what decision is right. And we see in Scripture how often God reaches out to men and women, and he has real, sensible encounters, like physical encounters, something that they experience in an almost violent way, such as Saul here in chapter 9. But we don't always get that. And what are we to do with that? How should we be deciding how we make those choices? And the answer is, thankfully, quite simple, is that God has spoken to us in a way very similar to how he's spoken to Saul or really anybody else, and that is in the preparation of his word. He has given us all the instructions and all the principles that should help us. I think Augustine actually said it quite well as a bit of a summary, is that he said when asked about what should I do with my life, he replied, love, and then do as you will, trying to encapsulate Christ's teaching on love your neighbor as yourself, and then everything else will become simple. Not that we have a free license to do whatever we want, but by obeying God and reading his scripture, we will see the framework of what correct and righteous living is. And it will help us to relieve our anxiety. It will help us to relieve our worry that we unnecessarily burden ourselves with. Many of us already know what to do. When those situations come up where we have a difficult question, naturally speaking, where we need extra guidance, is to pray and to seek out our elders and those we trust as mentors or guides that have already experienced different things in life. And so whenever you consider yourself not knowing about whether you should take one road or another road or do another thing, is prayer and scripture comes first. Then seek out godly counsel. And although you might not have the same blinding vision that Saul here has had, you will know confidently that God, who is the perfect communicator, has already spoken to you, is continuing to speak to you, and will make all things clear as much as you are required to have things clear, to make your decisions. So I just want to bring that word of encouragement to you, my friends and family, and I hope that all is well with you. Know that we are praying for you, and we are counting the days until we get to see you again in person. And that being said, you guys all take care out there, whatever the case may be brave, and know that God is with you, and take care.